In recent years, one author's catalog I've become more fond of is the work of Jim Brinton. Best known for his 2000 classic and his Happy Bunny, I've started to pick up on his patina that gets better with age, beyond the intent artist they resigned for. The one that has grown on me the most is Dudum Diary. His books about a middle schooler who promises that everything she writes is true. I thought it was perfectly okay as someone who was more into Diary of a Kid during its original release, but as we returned back to Burton's classic in the years since, I've noted that there's a lot more work to it than I thought. It has great comedy and art per method style, compelling emotion and needed humor, and ended it when it needed to. While the series has ran into relevance since it concluded a decade ago, to where I can't find it at a local Target anymore, it's still fondly remembered, and for good reason. Most notably, there's one aspect of Doing Diary that it does that stood out to me, and that's how it portrays Angeline, the popular girl. As I picked on reading the series again, I saw how she's a more engrossing character than it appears to Jamie or the viewer. For today's analysis, I would like to explain why Angeline has an interesting and well-realized portrayal of the popular archetype seen in children's Western art, and how she is written as a fertile Jamie or Orhan's own. Is a mesmeric ode to Burton's brilliance as an artist and a writer. Angeline first appears in the inaugural book, Let's Win This Never Happened, introduced as Princess Turn of Tursvillia for stealing Hudson, the accused gang grade that Jamie likes. Or our way, these opening scenes establish one thing: Jamie hates Angeline, from blaming her to why she has to buy school lunch to the comments she's not popularly. A lot of this book is Angeline being a substitute of Jamie's attention, with many of the pages displaying her in some kind of pain or a depiction of what Jamie imagines her. But notice the word depiction. The main component that's present is how, for the most part, we never see Angeline's review. The depiction of how Jamie realizes Angeline signalizes that she assumes what she is like to be. In turn, Burton depicts Angeline the way the audience makes you think Angeline is what Jamie made out to be: a popular generic pretty girl. Ironically, predominantly, all we are shown of Jamie is her worst, while what we're shown Angeline is her kindness. At worst, she's praised by her teacher or giving others, Jamie included, compliments, like asking her to go to the cinema with her. Not to say she's squeaky clean, as evident by her interaction with Pinheady, or what's behind her permanent record, for showing a slap meatloaf at Miss Burns for that leads to Jamie taking the blame instead. But between the two, it's clear from the start what Jamie is to Angeline and how Burton wanted to do the dynamic. Jamie cheers when Angeline gets her hair tangled and cut, but in hindsight, we don't see Angeline doing the same when Jamie is blamed. The only real instance of this comes at the conclusion, where Angeline threatens Jamie, not wanting for a bad worker to be leaked. Compared to the later books, this is more of a series of vignettes in the diary, but the purpose of being set up is clear, and Angeline is the medium that connects it, much like Jamie's diary. In the next few books, the same photo occurs. Jamie conjures up drawings of Angeline as this demon, which is accounted by Angeline's actual behavior. In My Pants Are Haunted, Jamie draws her as a demon pre-plastic surgery and bidding in pure money, accusing her of being rich, opposed to her babysitting kids to save money for a pair of jeans, creating her and Isabella for the new trend that she starts in school. And never do anything ever, Jamie sees that Angeline has been gazing in the walk-a-thon to raise money, thinking she's almost rich enough to not be completely unknown, and her disbelief that she is really both inside and outside. In reality, Angeline asks Jamie if she wants to help out and do good, have the goods in her heart, even showing humility from drum ropes accents. Sure, she's not unsullied, but the point still stands. There is a connection of how the pair knew each other as far back as kindergarten, yet never knew it for the longest time, with Annie informing that the one kid in mocker Jamie. After they reveal that their aunt and uncle become engaged, things get interesting, and the problem with here is that it's where I'm from, where Jamie sees that Ansley wrote, "Throw Jamie Kelly for prettiest in the bathroom," hinders her own campaign by advocating for her instead against Colette, before he's feeling remorse after how others have been treating her. One aspect that has brought up before in the past is how Ansley has always not only been nice to Jamie, but has always seen her as a friend, and it's clear he planned this from the very start of the series. The problem with Jimmy's unwillingness to communicate directly or consider Angeline's interaction meaningful. For the first half of the books, we don't see Angeline talk smack to Jamie the same way it's done the other way around. Angeline is far from a flawless goddess, but her good outweighs her bad. Unlike Jamie and Isabella, she's your bitch too. The turning point for character arrives in It's Not My Fault I Know Everything, the halfway point of the books. It starts out normal, with Jamie and Angeline read the book or whatnot, but things turn to twist as the two have their dogs become in-law by dog and have puppies, with the dog that Angeline having adopted puppies but returning. There's also Angeline doing Jamie's hair correctly that caused her to be grilling in a way she had never seen before. Angeline intends to do homework with Jamie and told her that was all for Isabel's desires for puppies. As I learned later by how she studied Isabel's accents to break her ankle, while her real diary reveals how she sees her and Jamie as sisters, somewhat something the lad never thought she would ever admit, but finally does. The book is novel in how the gap between Jamie and Angeline slowly starts to close before they become friends, though still with Jamie's own hesitation. If the first and second acts of year one are Jamie's coyness to see Angeline for what she is, then the third act is getting to know who she is. There's still envy, as seen in That's What Friends Aren't For, where Isabella hangs out with Angeline more, while Jamie begins to feel left out in the cold, gaining the jealousy, babbling about how the viewers made Angeline an automatic friend to them. Before working behind that claim after fighting a workaround for her and Isabella stuff the one-on-one time together, and what happened in the climax of the story. But it's clear that the hate she had is gone. They're practically friends by this point in the series. And while this is part of the books, it's not as Angeline focused as before, she still contributed a good amount. I look at this segment of the books, we establish her traits as an excess schemer who has hints of being selfish and selfless. From tending to donate her hair to a charity for kids who are under medical treatment, for going using the money for his Greentopia instead, to foiling Isabella's plan about bottled Todd's prices at the last minute. One thing I enjoy about Angeline is how she's essential to the story of the series. It's not coming for a series in lieu of Dear Diary to have the polygraph be minor to the work as a whole and could be removed with tweaks if you want to. But you can't do that with Angeline. No, sorry. At the start of year 2, the big thing that Angeline has going on is how smart she is with these new glasses. Jamie assumes that the glasses make her smart, but no, Angeline warned them to prevent Jamie from attending summer school, to push her to work hard to not fail with Isabella's aid, once again proving how mouthfuls can be behind the scenes. Part of this push to motivate her forward. But it also adds for her depth, with the conversation they had about Angeline breaking down about how she's not as smart as she seems, hinted by erasing what she did early on to show that she was really struggling. The ultimate she has taken summer school once before herself. It leads to one of the sweetest scenes of the whole series, where she expresses her desire to get a grades for more career opportunity in the future, motivated by her uncle wishing he had to work hard in school to be in college. We get the insight of a girl who's pretty, but it's also allowed to feel flawed. While we get the notion of Isabel's true intention with Jamie's pop up with the cast, we don't see that with Angeline. It's a belief that she does have these Tom's beliefs, and while Jamie might be immature about the whole college thing like her with her home dancing from prior, Angeline never was. Granted, this series where all the leads have very degrees of ego, but Angeline's way more ladylike than either Jamie or Isabella, that's for sure. This is one of my favorite parts because this shows what Brenton Bento has done with his character. It might appear minor, but it adds more to who he has to become. Definitely from where he started, especially with some of the later events that take place. One of the Arthur's strengths he has done is how he adds more to his character than expected. And another famous work, Fanny K-Stein, we follow a girl who just wants more friends, despite more fantastical looks and accents. That's not something you would think based on the covers. The same thing happens here. Not to say that Jamie and Isabella don't have those moments as well, and this book shows why for both, but Angeline has it best. It reminds me how this is a much better series than I remember being. It's what made it stand the test of time. It's a great comedy, but it's also a great story of these friends in the middle of experience. With a side to say, given how distant A's Brenton is, it goes to how he gets the characters right. While some of the next books really rely on her Pacific, though it reveals some good insight about how she'll get half the girl's bag over meatloaf and coffee. Well, for a bit, while Angeline starts to become more aware of her position in the clubs, the issue really comes to play. Reading those pieces about debating if Isabella is a bully or not was a gut punch. With the dialogue expressed between these little girls, I never expected Benton to have it in him to be this compelling. Dragging Jamie all the way into the office at her frustration, which is just for giving how angry she's been at Angeline. The book focuses on how her friendship with Jamie and Isabella is so masterfully done it's not funny. It's great writing. The scene where Angeline confronts her demons about how she has about Isabella before Jamie single responses totally only unexpected for reasons but brilliant. These two books turned it from a good series to a great one, and Angeline plays no smart part in that. Angeline is so excited about this plot that it hurts when Jamie and Isabella only laugh, lean to a bet with the former that shows the best and worst of both that leads to concerning each other with how they truly feel about each other. Angeline admits that she's smart, funny, and a great cousin in terms of how she loves Jamie. While Jamie says that her jealousy of Angeline is more because of her beauty is no more, hoping that she would turn out to be the sellout mean girl she wanted her to be, but then become. Angeline's truly nice. She works at being nice. Her work is generous, even if Jamie doesn't deserve it. She used to be jealous of Angeline because of how beautiful she has it, before committing that to more out to be jealous of. Not to say Angeline is truly nice, given how this Spielberg frames her as, but her scheming and 4D chess play are the ideal balance of being nice to someone, but also having competitive that allows a multiplying side of manipulation mishap to her. While she does take a bad streak in the final main book, I don't have an issue with it given how the penultimate book handles the dynamic. The final talk brings everything full circle. The way Jamie has talked about Angeline and how Angeline's no more but nice to her. I think the fact that the series, if you want to count deluxe, ends on revealing what Angeline was very submit in the first book is poetic. That's more of an F-line in the Reign of Bone Coda, whereas a side is the main chorus, but still, what Jim did with Angeline's character over the period he did the diary is demonstrative of a remarkable achievement when it comes to writing these popular girl characters. For a girl who's seen as perfect but rather be seen as a friend, I'm glad he gave her as much humanity as he could when he didn't need to. It's a testament to how the series can age so well because of how strong the writing was. And Angeline, by chance, is the perfect example of that. She might seem dumb, like a lot of blondes, but she's one of the kind of souls you ever meet, as Jamie knew. And like many great blondes, we never discover what Angeline's last name was. But that's okay. Remember, it's simply just fun.